Asterisk, my mom gave my custom-made wedding dress to my younger sister without telling me. I found out 3 days before the wedding. My sister walked out of the bedroom wearing it, twirling like a princess, while mom just smiled. She's getting married first now. Deal with it. I wasn't just betrayed, I was erased. And no one cared. My name is Ava. I'm 26, live in Ohio, and until this nightmare unfolded, I thought I had a fairly normal family. My parents were a little too invested in my younger sister, June, but I figured it was just typical golden child stuff. Annoying, sure, but manageable. Turns out, I was catastrophically wrong. It all began about 8 months ago, when my boyfriend of 4 years, Cole, proposed to me at a cozy little diner where we had our first date. I cried, I laughed, I said yes. The ring wasn't huge, but it was ours. Everything felt perfect. I called my mom first. She sounded as surprised. Oh, you're engaged? How? Well, that's fast. Fast, after 4 years. June, on the other hand, texted me a 5-word message, bet I get married first. I thought she was joking. She was in single quotes. Soon, wedding planning began. Cole's family offered to cover most of the expenses, since my parents were still recovering from some money issues that they wouldn't explain. That was fine by me. Less drama, I thought. I found the dress. It was a sleek, hand-beaded off-shoulder gown from a local boutique. I paid for it myself. It was magical. I kept it at my parents' house temporarily, since we were still renovating our closet at home. Big mistake. 3 days before my wedding, I stopped by my parents' place to pick up the dress. Mom was in the kitchen, sipping tea. June wasn't her own. Hey mom, I'm grabbing the dress, I said, heading toward the spare bedroom. Mom didn't say a word. I opened the closet. It was empty. My heart dropped into my stomach. Mom, where's the dress? She blinked slowly. Oh honey, June needed it. She's getting married next weekend, and it just fit her perfectly. My brain stopped. What? And June walked in, wearing my dress. Hair done, makeup perfect. She looked like a bridal magazine cover, and she knew it. I couldn't breathe. Isn't it gorgeous? She giggled. I had to get it adjusted a little. You should thank me. I made it better. I turned to Mom. You sold my dress to her. She shrugged. You didn't ask me to hold it. June offered to pay for it. You'll figure something out. I was shaking. You think this is normal? Mom looked me dead in the eyes and said, she's younger, prettier, and ready. You're emotional. I stormed out. Cole was furious. He told me we'd cancel the wedding or postpone it until I got a new dress. But that's when June dropped the second bomb. She posted on Facebook, so excited to marry my soulmate. A whirlwind romance, but when you know big. Thanks to my sis for the dress. The comments exploded. But what chilled me was the picture. She was hugging Cole. Yes. My fiancé cute. Wait. Was that from last month? I zoomed in. His hand was on her waist. I stared at it for minutes, my mind racing. Was this some joke? A mistake? I called Cole. He didn't answer. I texted, why were you hugging June on her FB post? He replied, we need to talk. What would you do if your sister stole your dress? And maybe your fiancé too? Asterisk. I didn't sleep that night. My heart was slamming so hard in my chest, it hurt to breathe. My brain replayed the image of my sister, in my dress, hugging my fiancé like she was already married to him. That stupid Facebook caption kept echoing in my head. So excited to marry my soulmate. What the hell was happening? At 6 a.m. sharp, I drove to Cole's apartment. No knocking. I had a spare key. And at this point, I didn't care if I caught him mid-shower or mid-lie. The apartment smelled like cologne and coffee. Cole was sitting on the couch, fully dressed, hands clasped, face pale, like he already knew he was guilty. I didn't speak, just stood there in the doorway. He looked up. Ava, sit down. I didn't. What's going on with you and June? He winced. Nothing happened. Physically, that alone told me everything I needed to know. I laughed. It came out dry and broken. But emotionally, he didn't answer. Are you in love with her? His voice cracked. I don't know. I felt something in me snap. Like a piece of my soul gave up right then and there. I walked over, snatched the engagement ring off my finger, and placed it on the coffee table. You don't know if you're in love with my sister, I said, my voice shaking. Then I do know. We're done. I turned and walked out. He didn't stop me. Back at home, I called my best friend Talia. She drove over in 20 minutes with a tub of cookie dough, 2 bottles of wine, and a look that could kill. Okay, she said, climbing over the couch, walk me through this nightmare from the top. I told her everything. The dress, the hug, the breakup. She didn't blink. They've been messing around longer than you think. What? She reached into her bag and pulled out her phone. Remember that Halloween party in October? One you didn't go to because of your flu. I nodded. She showed me a picture. June and Cole, in matching costumes. Her in a red devil dress, him in horns and a pitchfork. They looked way too comfortable. His hand was on her hip. Her head was tilted on his shoulder. I gasped. You took this. I didn't think anything of it then, she said. Now. She zoomed in. He never touched you like that in public. I covered my face. Had I been that blind? Later that day, I got a call from Mom. Hey sweetie, she said. Like nothing had happened. Just checking in. Have you picked a new dress yet? I hung up on her. 2 minutes later, June texted me, don't be dramatic. You just vibe. You'll find someone else. I'll keep the dress. I wanted to scream, or drive over and slap the smug smile off her face, but Talia stopped me. No, you don't ruin your life because of their trash behavior, she said. You ruin theirs by becoming untouchable. Like how, I whispered, by taking everything back, publicly. The next morning, I went into overdrive. Step 1, cancel the wedding. Cole's family was devastated. His mother cried on the phone. I apologized to her but said the groom had made his choice. Step 2, I contacted the boutique. Turns out, the dress was still registered under my name. The transaction hadn't gone through June's card fully yet, it was pending. I immediately canceled the sale. The boutique was amazing. They promised to retrieve the dress that day. I grinned. Make sure she's wearing it when you knock. Step 3, I posted on Facebook. Turns out my fiancé and my little sister are soulmates. She stole my wedding dress. He stole my trust. So I'm taking back my power. Wedding canceled. Dress reclaimed. Let the golden couple plan their big day without my leftovers. I included a photo of myself holding a glass of champagne, toasting the camera, in a different white gown. The comments section exploded. People I hadn't heard from in years reached out. Friends, former classmates, even distant relatives. June and Cole both went radio silent. But I wasn't done. That weekend, I went to Mom's house. Talia came with me, recording the whole thing on her phone just in case. Mom answered the door, shocked to see us. So, you, she said, come to apologize. I laughed. Nope, came to grab my property. The boutique assistant was right behind us, ready to collect the dress. June came downstairs in pajamas, still wearing the stolen heels. She screamed when she saw the assistant unzipping the garment bag. You can't take that. I already planned my wedding photos. It's not yours, I said flatly. It never was. June lunged at me. Mom grabbed her back. Don't embarrass us, she hissed. Too late. Talia's phone was already rolling. The assistant held up the dress like a trophy and walked out. I turned back and smiled. When I untagged you from the Facebook post. Wouldn't want your friends knowing the truth. Right, I walked out. With Talia, victorious. But this war wasn't over yet. Because 2 days later, I got an anonymous tip. A pregnancy test, a doctor's appointment, and June's name on a clinic form. The anonymous tip hit me like a freight train. At first, I thought it was some cruel prank. A sick joke sent by someone stirring drama, but the message was detailed. Thought you should know your sister had an appointment at Mapleview Women's Clinic last Tuesday. Positive test. Attached was a photo of a form. June's full name, date, confirmed pregnancy. My stomach flipped. My hands went cold. June, pregnant. And the timing. It lined up exactly with the weekend Cole and I had been out of town when she had a cold and stayed at Mom's. I didn't want to believe it. But I had to know. So I did what any rational woman with a shattered heart and boiling curiosity would do. I drove straight to my mother's house. Again. June answered the door this time. She was barefoot, holding a bowl of cereal, visibly annoyed. Seriously, what do you want now? I looked her dead in the eyes. Are you pregnant? Her jaw twitched. She glanced behind her. Why does it matter? Oh, it matters, I snapped. Is it Cole's? She laughed too fast, too loud. That's none of your business. I stepped closer. So it is his. She crossed her arms. You really think the world revolves around you? I said nothing, just stared. That's when Mom appeared behind her, arms folded, expression unreadable. This is not the time or place, Ava. Really, I said. Because it sure seems like this entire house made it the place. June leaned against the doorway. Why do you care so much? You dumped him. I blinked. You stole him. She smirked. He chose me. A gust of rage whipped through me. He proposed to me, June. He planned a life with me. And you swooped in like a vulture. She shrugged. Some of us just have that effect. I wanted to scream, but then I noticed something. A small glimmer of panic in her eyes. She wasn't confident. She was trapped. Maybe the test wasn't just a ticket to win. Maybe it was real. Maybe she didn't even want this. And suddenly, I wasn't mad anymore. I was disgusted. I turned to my mom. You raised her to think betrayal is just a personality trait. Congrats. Then I walked away. That night, Talia and I had wine on her balcony. She's definitely pregnant, I muttered. She didn't even deny it. Talia looked at me carefully. Do you think Cole knows? That question echoed in my head. Did he? If he did, then he really was everything June said he was. Weak, opportunistic, a coward. But if he didn't, I picked up my phone and did the last thing I ever thought I would. I texted Cole. Do you know June's pregnant? 3 dots appeared. Then disappeared. Then nothing. A fuller pass. Then finally, she told me last night. I stared at the screen. Is it yours? No reply. Then she says it is. I don't know. I dropped my phone. He's useless. Talia sighed. You dodged a whole tornado in a tux. The next day, I went to work like normal. I manage a small bookstore cafe. The regulars knew about my canceled wedding, and they'd been nothing but kind. But around noon, she showed up. June, in oversized sunglasses and a fake smile. The entire room tensed. Even the espresso machine sounded judgmental. I walked up to her. You've got 5 seconds to turn around. She leaned in and whispered. I'm not here to fight. I crossed my arms. Good. Because I'd win. She paused. I came to ask if you'd be willing to talk to Mom. She's really upset. I burst out laughing. Upset that you're pregnant with my ex's maybe baby and I'm not throwing you a baby shower. June didn't laugh. This wasn't the plan. Okay, I stared. Excuse me, she sighed. I wasn't supposed to actually get pregnant. It just happened. He was supposed to pick me, yes. But not like this. Tilted my head. So now you're stuck. She nodded. And Mom's making it worse. She keeps saying we have to keep appearances. She wants us to have some kind of shotgun engagement party. I blinked. Let me get this straight. You betrayed me. Stole my fiancé. Got pregnant. And now you want me to help clean it up? June looked down. I didn't think it would get this messy. My voice dropped. That's because you've never had to clean up your own messes, June. She looked like she might cry. For once, I didn't care. I leaned closer. Good luck. You'll need it. Then I turned and walked back behind the counter. The cafe erupted in silent cheers. But things didn't stop there. 2 days later, I got a letter in the mail. Handwritten. From Cole. It read, Eva. I messed up. More than you'll ever know. I don't even know if the baby is mine. June's been with other people. One of them messaged me. I thought I had feelings for her, but it was probably just confusion. I miss you. I miss us. If there's any chance, please meet me. One last time. She stared at the letter for a long time. So now he's crawling back, after destroying everything. Now he wants closure, or forgiveness, or another chance. I wasn't sure which made me angrier. The next morning, I sat down and wrote a letter back. Short, sharp, to the point. Cole, you two deserve each other, and everything that comes with it. I mailed it that afternoon, with a smile. But deep down, I knew this wasn't the end. Because the mess they created was only just beginning. And soon, everyone would see it fall apart. What would you do if your cheating ex and golden child sister ended up trapped in the same scandal? Would you expose them or let karma handle it? Asterisk. 3 weeks went by. I stayed quiet, didn't reach out, didn't retaliate, didn't post anything new. Let them wonder. Let them rot in the tension of their own choices. But the universe, ow! It never stays quiet for long. The explosion came from the last place I expected. Talia and I were having lunch at our usual spot when she casually opened her phone and froze mid-bite. Ava, she whispered. I looked up. What? She spun the screen toward me. Check this out. It was a Facebook post from Cole's mom. So disappointed by the choices made by my son and his accomplice. I raised him better. This is not the kind of woman we welcome into our family. With a picture, a sonogram. Underneath, comments were savage. Is that Ava's? Wait, didn't he cheat? This is disgusting. Poor Ava. That girl's a homewrecker. My jaw dropped. Oh my God. Talia grinned. Guess the truth's finally making its rounds. By that evening, my inbox was flooded. People asking questions, expressing sympathy, sharing screenshots. And then like clockwork, June called. I didn't answer. She texted, you started this. I replied with one sentence. No, you did when you stole everything. That night, Cole texted too. My mom kicked me out. She doesn't believe it's mine. June's freaking out. I muted him. For the first time in weeks, I slept like a baby. 2 days later, I saw June. She showed up at my work again. This time looking wrecked. No makeup, puffy eyes, wearing the same hoodie from 2 days ago. I came out from behind the counter. Unless you're here to apply for a job, leave. She looked around nervously. I just need to talk. I sighed. Fine. 5 minutes. Outside. We stepped out into the alley behind the cafe. She immediately burst into tears. They're cutting me off, she sobbed. Mom, Dad, even Cole's family. They all hate me. They're saying I ruin everything. I folded my arms. You did. I didn't mean for it to go this far, she cried. I didn't even want to be pregnant. I thought if I just got him away from you, I'd finally matter. For once in my life. That hit me like a brick. What? She sniffled. You were always the one they compared me to. I wanted to beat you at something. So I stole him, but I didn't think it would fall apart like this. I stared at her. This wasn't the smug, perfect golden child I'd known all my life. This was a scared girl who'd set fire to her life just to feel seen. And for a moment, I felt something. Not sympathy, not forgiveness. Clarity. You never needed to beat me, I said. You needed therapy. She blinked. So, you're not going to help me? I gave her a bitter smile. Not my circus. Not my clowns. Then I walked back inside and shut the door behind me. The next week, my boss offered me a promotion, said he admired how I handled personal stress like a true pro. I laughed so hard I nearly cried. I took the offer. Higher pay, more hours, and the chance to manage the cafe's social media, which I actually love doing. Meanwhile, June posted a black and white picture of herself holding her stomach with the caption, "Life doesn't always go as planned. But sometimes that's okay." The comments, brutal. People knew now. And karma. Karma was just getting warmed up. Then came the next shock. Talia and I were out shopping when she spotted a flyer taped to a lamppost. "Ava," she said, slowly turning it toward me. It was a GoFundMe. Title: Help June Prepare for Single Motherhood. I nearly choked. Is this a joke? Nope. It had her photo. The same stomach holding drama queen shot. The caption read, "Abandoned by everyone. Judged unfairly. All I want is a fresh start for me and my baby." They were asking for $20,000. Talia checked the donations. "You're not going to believe this. Guess who gave her $5? Ho!" She held up her phone. "Cole." I laughed so hard I had to sit down on the curb. "I hope she frames that $5 betrayal," I said. "It's all she's going to get." But the real final twist came 2 days later. I received a certified letter from an attorney. Inside, cease and desist from June, claiming defamation over my original Facebook posts. I read it 3 times before laughing out loud. She was accusing me of defamation for telling the truth. I forwarded the letter to my own lawyer, Talia's cousin, who had been dying to sink her teeth into something juicy. Her reply: "Tell her to buckle up. Because truth is the best defense against defamation." I posted a new update that night. "Trying to silence me won't change the facts. You wore my dress, slept with my fiancé, lied to our family, and now you want money. Nah, you're not a victim. You're a cautionary tale." Boom. Viral. Again. And now I'm free. No wedding. No cheater. No toxic family ties dragging me down. I'm moving cities in a month, starting a new job, making new friends, living for me. But sometimes, I still wonder what that kid's life will look like. What happens when they ask Mom, "Why don't I have a dad?" Will she lie or own it? And what will she say about the sister she tried to destroy, but who came out stronger? I moved out of state exactly 34 days after that cease and desist letter. New apartment, new job, new number. The only thing I took with me was a framed photo of me and Talia from the day I got my wedding dress back, both of us holding milkshakes like we'd just won the lottery. Because in a way, we had. I thought cutting ties would bring peace. And for a while, it did. But one afternoon, just as I was unpacking the last box in my tiny but sunlit studio, I got an email. Subject line: "Just so you know." It was from an anonymous burner account. No signature. Attached was a blurry photo of June, sitting alone in a coffee shop. No ring, no baby bump, looking exhausted. The message said, "Cole's not around. No one is. She's back living with your mom. She tells people you abandoned her. She still wears the dress sometimes." I stared at it for a long time. The idea that she still had my wedding dress and wore it made my skin crawl. It wasn't about the fabric. It was about what it meant. It was supposed to be my moment, my life, my future. And she wore it like a souvenir of her little victory. Except now, it looked more like a trophy from a war she lost. 2 weeks later, Talia came to visit. We were walking through the farmer's market when she stopped mid-sentence and pulled out her phone. "Oh my God," she gasped. "Guess who just dropped another bombshell on social?" I leaned over. It was June. Of course. Caption: "Decided to give the baby up for adoption. It's what's best." The post had a professionally taken photo of her holding a stuffed giraffe in front of a pastel nursery. No baby in sight. The comments were divided. Some said she was brave. Some called her selfish. Some asked where Cole was. Others asked if she was even pregnant at all. And that's when it hit me. No baby photos. No delivery announcement. No hospital bracelets. Had there even been a pregnancy? 3 days later, I got a call from my lawyer. She was laughing. Guess who just dropped the defamation claim? I grinned. Let me guess, our favorite pathological attention seeker. She must have realized depositions involve actual evidence, she said. And trust me, the second she found out we subpoenaed her medical records, she disappeared faster than her moral compass. I hung up and felt something I hadn't in months. Closure. Not revenge, not satisfaction. Just freedom. The next morning, I walked down to the beach near my apartment. The wind was cool. The waves were loud. I stood barefoot at the edge of the water, toes buried in the sand. I thought about everything I lost. And everything I never needed in the first place. Cole, the wedding, even my family. They weren't home. They were lessons. Painful. Expensive. Humiliating lessons. But necessary. That night, I got one last text. From a number I hadn't blocked. Probably out of curiosity. It was June. I saw your new place. It looks cute. I still wish we could talk. I miss having a sister. I stared at the screen. For 10 whole minutes, I said nothing. Then I typed, you don't miss me. You miss having someone to compete with. Game's over. You lost. Blocked. That weekend, I threw a non-wedding party. No white dress. No cake. No fake toasts. Just real people. Real laughs. And an embarrassing amount of karaoke. I got up and sang Survivor by Destiny's Child at the top of her lungs. And by the end of it, the whole room was chanting the lyrics. I'm a survivor. I'm not gonna give up. I'm not gonna stop. I didn't even realize I was crying until Talia pulled me into a hug and whispered, you're finally free, Ava. And I was. Not because they apologized. Not because they suffered. But because I rebuilt something they couldn't touch. Funny how betrayal can feel like the end of the world, until you realize it was just the beginning of your own. What would you do if someone wore your wedding dress, stole your fiancé, faked a pregnancy, and then tried to crawl back into your life like nothing happened? Would you forgive or forget? I thought the story was over, that I had turned the page and closed the chapter for good. But life, messy, ridiculous, absolutely unpredictable life, had one last plot twist waiting. One final bang to test everything I'd rebuilt. And it came. Dressed in a white lace lie, 3 months into my fresh start, I got invited to a small bookshop convention. It was local, nothing huge, just indie store owners and coffee lovers geeking out over rare prints and reading nooks. On the second day, they hosted a networking mixer at a cozy rooftop bar. I was sipping a lemon spritzer, enjoying the breeze, when someone tapped my shoulder. Excuse me, Avo. I turned and felt my stomach flip. Cole. Dressed sharp, hair to perfect, smile to rehearsed. What are you doing here? I said, already reaching for my purse. He raised his hands. I'm not here to cause drama. I didn't know you'd be here. I came with a friend. He's opening a store nearby. I gave him a long, cold stare. He shifted awkwardly. You look good, happier. Because I am, I said flatly. There was a pause. Then he said something I'll never forget. It was never real with her, Ava. Not like it was with you. I blinked. Seriously. You're still chasing redemption in the middle of a cocktail hour. I just wanted to say it, he said. She lied about a lot of things. The baby, it never existed. I know, I snapped. Your drama left the group chat months ago. He looked stunned. I leaned in, lowered my voice, and said, you didn't just betray me. You embarrassed yourselves publicly. You became memes, Cole. He blinked. Wait, what? Oh yeah, I smiled sweetly. There's a Reddit thread. Hundreds of comments. Someone animated your fake wedding. I think there's even merch. His jaw dropped. I turned to leave. And that should have been the final mic drop. But then June showed up. In a white dress. Yes. That white dress. My wedding gown. Except this time, it had been butchered. The sleeves were torn off. The hem sloppily cut. Rhinestones glued randomly over the bodice. A hot glued J on the back like she'd branded it. She looked wild, sweating, red in the face, hair matted, mascara clinging for dear life. She stormed toward me like a woman possessed. You think you're better than me? She shouted. The room went silent. June, Cole whispered. What are you doing? Oh, shut up, she screamed. You ruined everything. You both did. I should have had the life, the husband, the business, the applause. Security started moving in. She kept yelling. Everyone thinks she's so perfect, but you don't know what it's like being compared your whole life, to live in someone's shadow. I took one step forward and said calmly, no one put you there. You dug that hole yourself. The silence that followed was suffocating. Then she did something I will never forget. She grabbed the front of the dress and ripped it open. Right down the center, buttons flying, seams tearing, rhinestones hitting the floor like hailstones. She stood there in ripped fabric and absolute rage, breathing like she'd just run a marathon through fire. The entire room watched in stunned silence. Then she ran, out the door, down the stairs. Gone. The next day, the video was everywhere. TikTok, Reddit, Instagram Reels, and Hinge. Ex-bride crashes bookstore event in tattered dress. Meltdown. Hashtag Dressgate. People slowed it down, added dramatic music, did reaction videos. Someone even turned it into a musical duet. And me? I didn't say a word. Not online, not in private, not even to TLI. Because sometimes the loudest thing you can do is say nothing at all. 6 months later, my bookstore was thriving. I had a team of 3. We hosted poetry nights, open mix, and weekly meetups for women who'd survived toxic relationships. I even got invited to speak at a women's empowerment conference, and as I stood on stage, I looked out over the crowd and said this: sometimes your greatest betrayal becomes your biggest blessing. I didn't lose a fiancé. I lost a parasite. I didn't lose a sister. I lost the illusion that I owed loyalty to someone who never gave it back. And I didn't lose my dream wedding. I found my real life. The room stood, applauded, cried, and I smiled through it all, because I knew I wasn't a victim of my past. I was the author of it now. If your sister melted down in public wearing your wedding dress, would you comfort her, or post the video with popcorn? Tell me in the comments. I have to know. ***.
That's the end of today's story. Did things turn out the way you thought? Or were there some surprises along the way? Share your thoughts in the comments. I'd love to hear what you think. If you enjoyed this journey, don't forget to hit the like button. And if you haven't joined the community yet, now's the perfect time. Subscribe and turn on notifications so you're always the first to catch new stories. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next adventure.